All right, everybody, welcome out to the drivers meeting highlights video, just like we did for Long Beach. We're also going to do one for Road Atlanta. We just got done with the drivers meeting and wanted to go through the PowerPoint presentation that was in the meeting, and also some of the key things that were given to the drivers in terms of what to think about, what to look out for, and what to do when it comes to tandem judging. So here we go. Let me share my screen. All right. So first thing that actually was kind of a new emphasis for this round was going back to this graphic that we have that kind of shows the positioning and what each positioning equates to as drivers are taking the opportunity to figure out what way to slot up against the lead driver if they're the chase driver, or if you're the lead driver, what the chase driver is doing and how that might equate to other positions. So we have three different areas. We have ideal, a slight compromise, and then poor. So you can see on the left-hand side, all those boxes that go from the left-hand box to the equal box are considered equal in the judge's eyes for ideal. In compromise, you can see that there are various ways which the cars can be positioned together, but they would all be equal in those compromises. And so you might have close proximity, but lower angle. You might be on the rear bumper, or you might be really side to side, but you've actually exceeded the front bumper of the lead driver. And in the poor side, there's also additional examples where the angle might be much, much lower, but you still have good proximity. The distance is separated, but you're on the same line, or you have distance and you are exceeding the front wheels of the lead driver. Now, this is our track map. Everybody will be familiar with this by the time you've watched a broadcast or two. Because there's no longer sector scoring, this is the only map that we use. And so you can see that the momentum zones, which are essentially created by the telemetry data that we have, indicate where a chase driver should expect a lead driver to be slowing down or doing our definition of a decel. The first inside clip is on the left-hand side on driver's left as they're coming to the bottom of the hill. Then they'll be moving up the hill on a right-hand sweeper, getting into that second momentum zone where there'll be a little bit of a drop of speed as they head to outside zone number 2. Now, this year, that portion of the track, we've been allowed to actually do permanent painting for the outside zone 2. So it should be pretty easy to see throughout most of competition. Some rubber does get laid down, but it's not like the spray paint that we have to use at a lot of tracks that don't want to have paint or permanent paint on their venue. Right after the outside zone 2, there's the inside clip, and then a quick transition downhill into what has become a really important part of the track, and that's that touch and go area. And so basically what that means is that that section, which is about 15 feet long, I think, just needs to be touched by the front bumper in any part of that 15 feet length in order for that to be considered the correct and appropriate line for that area. And then the final inside clip is the exact same place where inside clip number 1 is, but it's just going up the hill. And then you can see this red marker, red dotted line right here, which is indicating the finish line. So there is a need to finish in drift all the way through that finish line. In terms of the line, one of the things that was pointed out is they really want you to run a line that allows you to maintain momentum from inside clip 1 to outside zone number 1. And sorry, I actually missed that. Outside zone 1 right here is a really important part for maintaining momentum from this section to this section here. And that is something that they are certainly dinging a lot. We just got done with ProSpec qualifying, and we did see that there was quite a bit of deductions for drivers that were not maintaining momentum going up the hill. And of course, it is very challenging. It is an incline. And so there is the need to make sure that the power distribution is being done appropriately, but that you are doing it in such a way that still is smooth in terms of things like XFactors and manipulating your angle and things of that nature. What they will allow for full points is the rear tires on the rumble strip. So the rumble strip are these things right here, these white and gray areas. And Going back down the hill, it's actually kind of crazy because the rumble strips are like this. And so you can imagine a car going it across that way. But going up the hill, we do allow the drivers to put a tire or 2 tires on that section and still get full points. After that section, it goes right into the dirt. So if we do see a dirt drop there, then that's when deductions will start taking place. In terms of exiting the horseshoe, a mid-track exit, so right here, is preferred. Once we leave this area, going a midline, reaching down to the touch and go, and then accelerating towards that last inside clip. For the touch and go number 1, a bumper on or over the rumble strip is acceptable for full points. And then finishing wide on inside clip 3 means swinging through here with good momentum and pushing all the way out wide to the rumble strip, maintaining angle, and then pushing it through the finish line. With angle, one of the things that they really put a lot of emphasis on is maintaining set angle at inside clip number 1. So oftentimes we'll talk about stepped angle where somebody will go here and then here or here. They really want to see that rate to angle fast and locked, and then maintaining momentum through that inside clip. And that angle should allow you to continue to maintain momentum to outside zone number 1. For outside zone number 2, in terms of the angle that they want to see, it's the kind of angle that allows the car to slow at the top of the hill. So instead of overt braking or other kinds of manipulations in the vehicle that can slow the car down, what they really want to focus on is utilizing angle to slow the car into outside zone 2. And then once that angle is set, setting that angle all the way to inside clip number 2, and then pushing back down the hill. And then once they leave inside clip number 2, then it really is a focus on maintaining momentum all the way through the finish line. We should see the drivers leaving inside clip number 2 with set angle. As they transition back around, there should be consistent momentum and or speed through the downhill part of the course, through the touch and go, and that last inside clip. So in terms of style, right? Style is composed of 2 elements in Formula Drift. It is the initiation and transitions. So a quick rate to angle is obviously always preferred. A smooth rotation in your transitions, not any of this kind of stuff, but very smooth. And then a big part of this course has to do with when you're back on throttle after the initiation. And so the latest point that they would like for you to be back on throttle is before inside clip number 1. There was a long discussion yesterday about what's acceptable in terms of e-brake usage coming down the hill. And obviously everybody's got different styles and how they approach it. Some people like to pepper the e-brake. Some people do a big long hold. The judge's preference is to not see a big long hold that locks the rear tires. That is basically essentially what they see as a crutch. Drive as fast as you can, throw the car, pull it, and just wait there. What they want to see is the appropriate speed going down the hill for your car. Throw the car to angle, lock it, and try to use as minimal as e-brake as possible from an aesthetics perspective. They're trying to push the drivers to have the most eye-pleasing initiation and angle lock as they can without overusing some of the tools that are deemed acceptable. On the transitions, everybody should know this. We want to see quick and smooth rotations. And then the angle to achieve, or the degree of angle required for outside zone 1, exiting the horseshoe and inside clip 3, is the kind of angle that basically takes you to the max that you can go for your car without losing momentum, and then quickly transitioning back around, smooth, quick rate to angle there, locking in again. So these are all things that I think all of us pretty much know intuitively. These were things that were underlined in terms of the types of runs that they would like to see. Now, one of the things that we did in the drivers meeting is we showed last year's #1 qualifier, which was Matt Field. So I would encourage you to go back and look at that to see what his score was. It was actually a lower score. It was like a 93, but that was with the old judging system. So that was something that they wanted to show as a visual learning tool or visual aid to say, you do a run like this, you're definitely going to get a good score. So X factors. So the X factors are, you have line, angle, style. And then everything else outside of that, or that puts the glue, that is the glue that puts things together, is the X factor. So how is your throttle control? Is it heavy and massively applied, or are you peppering the throttle and doesn't sound like you're giving full commitment? Driving with a high degree of angle, but at the same time also maintaining that pace. So that's the glue from high degree of angle to pace, is being able to put those two things together. And then the last part is showing the stability and balance and consistency with no hesitation when approaching the edge of the track. So where are the edge of the track areas? You have the first one is on outside zone 1, and then you have outside zone 2, and then you have basically through the finish line after the inside clip pushing out wide. They want to see you go as wide as possible without dropping a tire. Put all that together, and you can expect to get a good score out of the 10 possible points for X Factor. The incompletes for this round are pretty well known: spinning out, opposite drift, hood hatch, roof, trunk, or doors opening during a run, a mix of multiple mistakes. So if it looks like a driver is putting together a lot of mistakes that would be difficult for a chase driver to chase, if there was a chase driver there, say for qualifying, for example, then that could be considered an unchaseable lead, and that can be an incomplete. And then for this course, it is 3 tires off, which constitute an incomplete. This was just our spotters help. Some of the notes that they had in terms of spotters, what to look out for, and that spotters help is always really beneficial for spotters to get actually a direct analysis of the runs during practice of what the drivers can improve on, or if whether they don't need any improvement at all. All right, cool. So that's it. That is our judging, tandem judging review for Road Atlanta. And hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you on track.